Yeah, Marco.
So I asked Woon, where's the baby?
I was for Christmas. I'm on babysitting duty tonight. Yeah.
John, if we can start with the injury, how serious?
Who we got? Ali actually, you passed. Evan passed to HIA. I think Paul Davies passed to HIA. Ali, I'm not sure of the prognosis yet. That looks reasonably serious.
Is it his knee or his ankle?
I'm sorry, I really don't know. I feel bad. Now that you're asking me, I haven't checked on one of my players, but I haven't. No, I'm not sure. Who else was it? That was it. Paul passed to HIA. Kobus tweaked his knee, but that's about it. So Ali was the one serious one. I don't know what it is yet. I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah.
Ali, the 20 minutes that he was on the field, I mean, he held the World Cup.
Yeah, that was.
He probably was a big 20 minutes by Ali.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Because the damage they could have done by then, I actually thought we were cheap. I suppose every coach comes up here and says 50-50 calls, but I thought the one or two scrum calls tough. I thought the one where Ali got injured was really tough. And that was frustrating. I think we even expressed to the referee we were a bit frustrated with that one because Ali was got an injury for it. And actually, I'll cut it off there what the referee said. But he did a great job there. We did get some pressure after that.
Robert, just in the context of this game and the players at the Bulls, Akas has said now that it's the first time in one room that he had all these contracted players available. Just to, your thoughts on the game and the victory.
Oh, I think we all wish those days we got everybody available. That battle is a futile one. Just doesn't happen anymore, unfortunately. I'm pleased. It's good for them that they got that everybody. But listen, the tough SA derby. I would like desperately that we could have, when we sort of got going in the second half a little bit, we could have scored a couple of those tries and the people, because you wanted to produce some excitement for the 55,000. That was frustrating that we didn't get the game, didn't get a bit of flow and rhythm to it. But what was amazing was the contest everywhere. At scrum, the proper. And this is probably what's great of making South African rugby so great at the moment. Why we win World Cups. That we're so used to that this game, the contest, line out to maul, contest, breakdown, massive contest, which is really good for South African rugby. As I say, I would like a bit more flow, but that's a product of the pressure being put down at everywhere there's a contest, So.
Also, the scramble defense on both sides.
Very good.
Did that create the error rate?
There were a lot of errors. We made too many, but I thought the Bulls' much maligned defense was very good. It was really good. Give him credit for that. We couldn't break it down. I thought Jean-Ray Rudolph was incredible at the breakdown, and nuisance. Really, he's a sort of unsung sort of player. You think somebody sent me a message that you think he'd be working in a pharmacy in Welkom. He looks like that in his white coat. But he's just an amazing player and a good leader and good guy. Credit to him.
If the URC had their way, what they wanted was you to play in Pretoria, I think just after Christmas, and then play now. And given the physicality of South African derbies, I mean, do you really think it's a very good idea to play two games like that and within 7 days of each other? I think because I got the impression that even in this game, it was almost like the two teams played each other. The second half sort of went into a lull almost because it was almost like we physically sort of had cancelled each other out, if you know what I mean.
I agree with you, Con. Imagine us doing that next weekend again. Yeah. It would be absolutely impossible. I mean, I don't think the players would want to, for their own welfare's sake. I mean, he was on the field. How tough was it? I'd much rather be in the coach's box where you see there was. I mean, you could hear the thuds in the coach's box, which is insulated. Crazy stuff.
That's happening in the Sharks.
Sharks back to back.
John, I wanted to ask a follow-up to that. You spoke about the physicality, and you now say how difficult it is to do it back to back. But you're now heading into Europe. How challenging is it going to be to follow up this type of game against, next you get a French team or
we're on a plane on this week to Harlequins, and we're not going, to be a team that we think can win in London. And I think that's probably, other than our, maybe our results and where we are in the URC in terms of being unbeaten. The big thing has been our growth in our squad depth, which is the most important part of the project. Not so much as I said to you a few times about in the backs where we've got a lot of injuries, and that's not an excuse. They're not all frontline players. I mean, Damien's out there today, Sasha's out there today, Kobus up. But you take 4 centres out, take Sebi. So Salmaan was the 41st player. to play this, which is good in terms of growth. That means we've got 41 guys who've played this season, and we can put 23 on the plane next week to go and compete in Harlequins. So that's been to me, that's our biggest thing so far. Not that we sort of hang on to an unbeaten record, but it's going to be tough. But we worked out we need, if we want to host a playoff, and we know the away in Europe I'm talking about now. Yeah. We have to probably get a point at least. If you're going to go for a point, you might as well go for a win, because nobody goes there to lose within 7. So it won't be a. Last year we lost there 53-15, and we took JC Mars and Devon Fuller, and there were some good players. That make no mistake. But Vern Matunga was I think was his debut. Somebody else was on his debut. A couple with 3 or 4 on the debut. This year it's going to look a bit different, and I think that's our growth. When we talk about those guys that were listening yesterday, Project 29, it's not about the Stormers winning in 29. We want to win now. The growth and our depth of the squads, and I think we've made a lot of strides there at the moment. That's what I think.
Listen.
Did Ali's injury play a role in sort of not being able to send on the 6 forwards at the same time, or was this a totally different?
No, we had a different plan. The plan was to get Paul on pretty early in the second half. Salmaan got a knock, so that's why he came at the same time. But it wasn't that. We weren't going to do the 6. I like the 6 thing, the 6 phalanx, but I think with JD playing like he was, he wasn't necessarily going to come off. And Rodrigo Fenter was going well. So the only pre-planned one was actually Paul, because he's obviously a great player.
And that's a good sign for you guys. So it's not something that you guys just rely on to kickstart the second half.
No, we dripped. I mean, I think Ruben and Sazi only went on 63, which is unlike us. So it was nice to have another way of winning rather than just swapping a whole pack at 45 minutes.
Stephen?
Robert, was there any time in the second half, there was that, actually the Bulls got that momentum a little bit from the kickoff in the second half, and then, Andre got a few opportunities. Was there any point in the second half where you maybe became a little bit worried that the Bulls are getting momentum, or did you always feel that the guys were completely in control?
It's going to sound a bit sort of full of hubris, but I never was worried in that game, and it sounds curious. It's not really. I don't mean that with any sense of arrogance, but the way we defended, even the first half, even when they were playing on penalty advantage, those double tackles, I just didn't feel we were under sort of defensive pressure. I thought our defense was very, very, very good. So I didn't feel like they're going to open us up. It's a question whether we could get the rumble and the grind on. So I say, please, I really don't mean that arrogantly. I thought at one stage we were facing down possibly a draw. You know what I mean? I thought, okay, they'll get a penalty. But I didn't have that impression I thought they played well, but they scored points when they got close to us. It's not like they wasted lots of opportunities. I don't think in the second half we were massively under the pump. I actually thought the time when most on the pump was that last move. I thought we didn't fold properly, and they didn't get up then. And when they came back, we stuck some heads in the breakdown. And when that kick went out, it was a relief because I thought we were under the pump, and I thought we were going to be defending a 5-metre penalty. And the next thing, Andre Pollard's kicking for the win. That was the time I was sort of worried.
Because myself and Steve chatted after the game. We sort of had, I think we both saw different games. In the second half, I felt that you guys had a lot of. You sort of almost had got that. When I spoke earlier about that physical, you sort of got the physical dominance in the second half. I felt, and there was a lot of time that you sort of when you had quite a lot. I didn't count the 22 entries, but there were quite a few without actually converting. Yeah. And you obviously turned down kickable opportunities sometimes as well. And I mean, you could possibly have if I was you, I would sort of feel that you could have won the game by more. So it's not you being arrogant. It's actually.
I mean, we should have. There were 2 in the second half. And the one he dropped wasn't his fault, it was a walkover. So there were 2 or 3 in the second half. Yeah, I felt like in the second half because our coach's box was on this side, and the first half seemed to be played right in front of us, in that sort of middle earth, and the second half seemed to be played right in. I didn't feel us looking to the right too much in the second half. I thought we kicked well in the second half.
Yeah. But you considered that you didn't convert, or was it?
It's a Bulls desperate Bulls team, good Bulls team. Sorted their defence out. I mean, how many Springboks in that pack? Yeah, it's good.
Salmaan, you're sitting with a few knocks here. Just tell us your thoughts. Just your thoughts. I mean,
on the
you
game.
see you're in quite a tough game.
no, obviously it was very tough. It was it lived up to its expectation. It's a typical SA derby, and it was extremely physical, especially that first half. Gavin said, I thought in the second half we kind of dominated a little bit more. Obviously didn't convert the opportunities that we got and the injuries that we got, but that's just to show that, you know, the Bulls the quality side, and I think both sides it wasn't the usual province rugby, but it was entertainment in its own respect, and it's a great showing for SA Rugby, I think, and yeah, I think both sides was wonderful. It was kind of like a test match.
About when you announced your team, the first question that came up, where's Dylan Moerat after a great start to the Storms?
Yeah. Dylan's available. He'll play next week. I've mentioned for a while he played, I don't get this wrong, 4 or 5 in a row. We go 6-2. That's almost policy. It's helped us a lot this season. He's only one outside back on the bench, and then we had Yuri. So we want to get Salmaan through. Salaaman's obviously a special player. He's almost 60 caps now. He's over 50, isn't he?
Yes.
The age of 21, so he's special. So we need to get Salmaan match fit again, because we couldn't limp around just on Dylan and Zassi. So we're thrilled with him. He'll be back next week. It was purely about getting Salmaan ready.
Jason Moss.
He's also back. He's available next week as well. Yeah, so
Mike Pocket was first.
Salmaan, hearing Dobbo saying that he was never in doubt of the outcome of the match in
it sounds bad now that I've said it. That's what I said. I'm not arguing, but it sounds a bit.
And winning becomes an habit. Is that the feeling between the 4 white lines, between you guys as well? And what is said between the guys to pull a close game like this up like a dogfight?
Look, I do think it does become a habit, and I don't want to sound arrogant at all. But I think we've been in deeper holes before. If you look back at that Munster game away at Limerick, geez, I don't think many people would have given us a chance. In that first half, we were down to 13 men for 20 minutes away from home, and then we managed to win that game. And that does give you belief that, you know, there's something in the tank, and the boys will pull it through. Gavin's got a light blue shirt on. Yeah, Gavin.
Actually, Michael wanted me to ask a question yesterday, right at the end of the press conference yesterday. He said, have I got anything to ask? And I was going to ask you, Dobbo, because it sort of relates to next week. Salmaan, because I'm thinking back to the last time you went, well, it wasn't, you went to Harlequins last year actually.
Yeah.
It was Harlequins you went to last
Yeah,
year.
got a hiding, yeah.
But that was very unexpected.
Yeah.
But 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
Yeah.
you went over there and you had Yuri
Yeah,
Ted,
at Leicester.
and you had Salmaan, if I remember correctly, in the midfield.
Yeah.
Would you still look at him in the midfield? I mean, I know for a while he hasn't played there, but would you still look at him as an option for a game like next week? That's an opportunity.
100%. That's probably our thinking. Yeah. We really want to go and as I say, if we're going to go for a point, we want to go for all 4 or 5. So, and Salaaman's an option there. I think almost certainly. Yeah, I think.
So you can play Dylan and
Zassi or Dylan and JC, somebody else.
Okay, so that's 13 and 14 we've announced. We'll just wait.
Okay, wait for the rest of them. Wait.
Any other questions? Yes, Ari.
Just from on defence, what you picked up from the Bulls, was it more technical, that they fixed technical stuff, or do you think it was more the constant result, the attitude?
Yeah.
The attitude.
We thought there'd be more holes around the breakdown, and there were a couple, to be fair. Maybe whether we exploited them or not, but their attitude, their work rate. Every time we sort of got some yards, they reorganised. So probably attitude. I thought they were superb. So yeah, I don't want to sound arrogant, like saying I don't think we looked like losers. I thought they defended it really, really well. Credit to Johan Ackerman in 1 week. If the defence was such a major problem, we scored 2 more tries. That's the truth. So I think the attitude, the way they scrambled, I thought they looked a bit like us with the way they scrambled. It was very good. There's 2 clean line breaks, and the way they got back onside and off the line again, really good. Yeah.
Looking at the next couple of weeks, obviously Champions Cup, you're moving over that side. Was this a win that you guys targeted just to say, okay, our home 2 derby games, we close that off with victories? The loss, if it comes, you can deal with it. And then it's a matter of getting back on the horse in the URC when the next 2 weeks are done. If you get my point.
No, well,
Just on winning this game.
yeah.
Does it take the sort of like the weight off your shoulders in terms of winning your home URC games?
No, I think we would have taken this one against a desperate and good Bulls team and moved on if if they'd scored at the end, then Pollard knocks it over from the ball. I think it's very different for us we want to host the playoffs in Europe. So the pressure will, the URC's got that's game 8 out of 18. If we drop this one, it wouldn't be the end of the world. That unbeaten thing can become a little bit of a bogey sometimes. You stop getting your shell. So I wasn't saying I wanted them to burst that bubble, but that's not a really big thing. We wanted to win a local derby, but what I really want to do is make sure that we can host. I think South African teams, we need to try and make a statement to host playoffs in Europe if we get to get further. And we're just in a position, having won that Bayonne win, where we can have a go at it. I'm not saying we'll get it right. I think to go win in London next week will be tough.
Just on the sideline, just your stalwarts, you talk about growth of squad, but just some of your veterans, like Frans Moerat, Dion Fourie, just what's the status of him? Because Frans Moerat, we're not sure, is he playing rugby again? What's the status of him trying to pass that?
No, it's he's busy in rehab. France's rehab is France. No, that's what I like about this group. The people like France, and they're not here, and we're still getting some results. But France is still not. I'm not sure if he's returned. It's meant to be down for March. Dion, I think, is the end of this month. Sibella's a bit longer. Jails is also towards the end of this month. But
Potty as well, I know he had a heart attack.
No, Potty's fit, he's good to go. JJ Coates is back a couple of weeks. We're not too bad injury-wise.
Kevin? Yeah, so I was just going to ask you the question now, and I have to admit that I've forgotten his name. But number 8 he was actually playing.
Yeah, good one. Keke Marabe.
Sorry.
Keke Marabe. Yeah, we really need him.
Is he
He's back at the end of this. He might make one of the Sharks games. He's special. Okay. He's unbelievable. And we've had this Paul de Villiers thing. Keke is special, and I can't wait for him to get back. We have 2 broken legs in 2 years. They had to re-break the leg because it didn't set properly. So it's horrible injuries, especially if you're a stealer, you know what I mean? Because the one injury, the one in Northampton, I think they hit him on the leg and it broke. I think it was a carry against Toulon. It wasn't a steal. He broke. So 2 games in 2 years, but he's special. So it's exactly what we need now. If Dion's going to stop, Keke and Paul will be special there. Really.
Well, is this in your whole coaching career the longest winning streak that you
We've got it in.
No, 14 between the first URC and the second URC.
14.
Yeah.
Cool.
Any other questions?
Flip, it could take one. As I say, one penalty at the end there, they're knocking it over, Polo kicks it over, game over. I sounded bad when I said I didn't look like losing. I didn't feel like we were getting beaten, that's what I meant.